For today's double review, we have two indie platformers that won't take up a lot of your time. First, the puzzle platforming of Inmost, and then the Metroidvania collectathon of Transiruby. Inmost tells a story in 3 acts with 3 very different characters. What we know is that we exist in a strange world where some kind of corrupting force is absorbing the pain of living creatures, and that pain is being manifested in the form of a variety of monsters and kind of strange demons that are littering the land. It's up to us to try and explore and figure out what is going on. The other 2 characters take place in other time periods that kind of lean into what is happening in the overall story. But the actual plot of this game doesn't really make itself known until the very end, with a very gut punch of an ending, which I'm not going to spoil here. As for our gameplay, this is kind of a focus on puzzle platforming. There is like combat sections involving the kind of warrior character, but the focus on this one is going to be moving and exploring the world. The jumping and kind of movement tag reminds you a little bit of a more gentler version of Out of This World or Flashback, where once you jump, you are committed to that trajectory. The puzzle solving here is entirely organic, as you'll have to figure out how to use various objects and explore in order to open up a door, get an item, etc, etc. While you will be running into enemies in kind of like the main chapter of Inmost, you will have to dodge or use the environment to get around them. Surprisingly, for a game that's about puzzle platforming, the action sections felt relatively responsive and tight. I even like having the kind of like dodge counter move in this one. Now, Inmost, as I said in the Singer, is not an overly long game. There are secrets to collect, which I did end up enjoying, but while it does open up more of the lore, they do that thing where all the collectibles are quite literally invisible in the area. So you will have to kind of jump and move around every angle that you can imagine to hopefully find them all. If I had any issues with Inmost, the pacing did feel a little bit awkward. And again, this I think is capitalized by the fact that you're playing as 3 different characters in 3 different stories. The kind of little girl subplot is kind of the slowest part of it, as a little girl quite literally is a little girl. She can't run, jump, dodge, roll, or do anything like that. So you're left to kind of just doing full puzzle solving for those sections. We did run into a few bugs here and there, including one where kind of the event trigger was not going and my character was just kind of like stuck. But a reload kind of fixed that. Inmost is a very interesting game to play. The art style here, I know it can be a little bit, I think, a monotone, because it's just kind of like all, not exactly grayscale, but just kind of like one palette. But I did love the art or the animations in the backgrounds. If you're a fan of puzzle platforming with, again, some very slight action to them, I would give this one a try, but again, if you're not looking for a very tearjerker of a game, then be very warned about where this ending will lead. We now switch over to Transiruby. We play as Ruby, an android who has been tasked to explore a strange anomaly, collect mysterious gems, listen to some great chiptunes, and they have their little like robot flying cat friend to help them. The kind of major aspect of this game is how straightforward it is in terms of its movement, exploration, and combat. This is not a game that is going to leave you in the dark to wonder where you're supposed to go, where your next task is. And how this works is that each area has 50 gems for you to find. The gems are of course hidden behind fake walls, behind platforming obstacles, etc, etc. And you need every single gem in order to open up the door, which will then open to the next area, and you'll find more gems for you to collect. However, unlike other Metroidvanias, the mapping in this game is exact. It will tell you to the precision where every single item MacGuffin is, outside of the kind of like special hidden items for achievement purposes. You'll use your gun and sword as kind of your primary combat and exploration tools. Your gun charges based on you killing enemies in melee, and the more enemies you kill kind of very fast will get you more gun charges. Your shots will activate switches and platforms, and will also be used to freeze enemies in place no matter where they are. This is used for both puzzle solving and exploration, as you'll need to make use of enemies as makeshift platforms in order to get around some of the environments. Combat in this one is by no means going to be complicated. Your gun will instant kill any enemy, or will set them to be instant killed by your sword, and the downward slash of your weapon while you're in the air will kill anything other than bosses in a single hit. The game was clearly designed to cut out a lot of the chaff that we usually see from Metroidvanias, and I think it is to this game's credit. The kind of major point about this is the amount of backtracking. There are only a few areas in this game, and you will have to return to previous ones to open up a new area, collect all the MacGuffins that are there, and it can be a little bit cumbersome. There is clearly a lack of fast travel. You will get a few points here and there, but all in all, there's going to be a lot of backtracking you must do, and this is kind of exacerbated by the third area, the snow area, that features the most backtracking due to the fact that it has a lot of point of no return jumps and paths. So you go down the wrong way, you're going to go the long way around once again. The boss fights are enjoyable. They're not overly difficult. They're all very pattern-focused battles. But again, it kind of gets at the point of Transiruby, that this is not meant to be a 20 to 30 hour long massive challenge, but kind of a distillation of all the fun aspects of Metroidvania design. And I would say if you're a fan of Metroidvanias looking for one that is not going to be overly long, but still is very much packed in terms of the gameplay and what you've come to know, I would give this one a play. And I do hope the developer decides to do like another game, or we see like another in this kind of style of a short form Metroidvania. And with that, we'll wrap up this double review here. Both games were played with retail keys. And let me tell you, your game for a future stream, video, and all that, please reach out. If you did happen to play either one or both, let me know what you think about them down in the comments. And with that, have a great night, and see everyone in the next video. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.